Hey viewers, welcome back to the channel. Pool update video for you. A variety of topics. The big thing, as I'm sure you can plainly see, is concrete. So we poured the concrete collar, which is pretty cool. So we're gonna start there, and then I'll talk about the rest of the stuff. So first off, concrete collar. Here's what she looks like all done. So this is normal concrete, like 3,500 PSI concrete. And it was poured 8 inches thick and 2 foot, I guess, you know, perimeter, right? 2 foot all the way around the pool. And what that does, as you can see, is it encases all of those braces, the legs, everything in concrete to really provide a good foundation and to hold this thing together. So that was the big thing that happened, which was exciting. So concrete's done. So now we get to do the plumbing, electrical, and that kind of stuff. So first let's talk about you'll see plumbing throughout this video, but I'm not going to talk about it in this one. I'll talk about it in more detail once it's done. So I'll gloss over that. Ignore all the pipes because we're not there yet. But we did finish the coping. So we'll talk about that real quick. So you can see that side of the coping there, it looks a lot better than it did. And you can see the techniques we used on this other one. So this time we actually planned a little bit. We cut off these tabs and we notched all this, right? A little better so that this will bend a little better, right? And it turned out a lot better. This is still a hard bend, don't get me wrong, okay? You know, maybe you want to, like we talked about, right? Maybe you want to take this a little more shallow bend and expose this rather than following the contour. I think that's a valid option. But then we got all the coping done, which is nice. A little back and forth, a little trial and error. I don't know if I described this with the other coping videos, but as you're doing these radiuses, especially around here, you can see we hit one in every tab just to really lock down this bend. And then right there, but then as you get into the longer radiuses, my case, right, we did about every 2 tabs, which is just under 6 inches. So still to do is to figure out these gaps in the clips. There's issues. Once we figure it out, we'll film it and I'll show you. So coping's all done. One of the next steps that we're going to do is make sure that all the pool walls are plumb. So that's what those turnbuckles are for, is to fine tune plumb for all those walls. And that'll probably help all this coping, you know, sit up right. You fine tune the walls first, then we'll go through with all the coping and put these braces in, right, to further reinforce everything, make sure everything's plumb at the wall, right, plumb at the coping, and everything's happy. Other kind of rough end stuff, you see we got the skimmers installed. So one there and one down there. These are Aqua Genie skimmers, the upgraded ones. And basically what this does is instead of having return jets or more return jets, it's all built into the skimmer. So you got the skimmer here on the suction side, right? Water go in, and then the return is actually here. This little strip here will shoot the water back out. And actually what it's going to do is it's going to fire it more at the floor of the pool to kind of stir up any sediment on the bottom and kind of churn it back and create a convection to, you know, across the pool, and then the skimmer from the top side, right, sucking it back in. So at least that's the theory. And then we also got the return mounted over there, just that return bulkhead, very easy. What else? When you pour the concrete, you want it with these kind of steps. You can see we still have the form in there. You want to be sure to form that up to basically hold that bottom ledge in place, right? It's on the ground. It's just plastic, and so you don't want the concrete to push that out of plumb too much. So in this case, we just have the concrete guys run flexible form in there, right? Other things to show you related to concrete. So take a walk. We poured concrete pad for the equipment pad. All right, so here's the equipment pad, as we talked about previously. We poured the concrete for it, and one thing that we did do is, you know, probably about 2 hours before the concrete was going to show up, I said, oh crap, I forgot there needs to be electrical conduit in there to run all the low voltage pool lights. because I don't want to run all that stuff above ground if I can help it. So that's what we did. So we scrambled a couple trips to the parts store, and we got the low voltage junction box mounted, right, and stubbed up through the concrete there, and then out and ready for the 4 raceways for the 4 lights. And all this is a junction box, you know, rated for a pool, right? I mean, it's, you got 4 in, you got 1 out, right? So we'll splice them all together, and then go out here, as you can see, to the low voltage transformer here on the low voltage side, and then we got high voltage coming on this side, right, to actually power the thing. And that is how the lights work. And when we get into the more of the pool automation of how those lights work, I will describe to you the how do I phrase this nicely? The crap show that is how you change colors on these things. It is, I couldn't imagine a more brute force way at all. I don't like the way they did it, but it'll work. But the software engineer and the programmer in me is just, you know, slowly dying on the inside, having to do how this actually works. So anyway, rant aside, that is the equipment pad. And so all the piping is going to go in there, and that's where the pump and the filter and all the doodads are going to go. The other thing we did, because we had a little extra concrete, poured ourselves a little trash can pad, which is always nice, right? Get it out of the driveway, because that's where we were storing it. So a little trash can pad, and then coming off that, we're gonna have a sidewalk that will connect bloop, all the way around there to the deck when we actually pour all the concrete and everything. So for those that are curious, that little trash can pad, that equipment pad, that trash can pad, I don't even know how big it is, right? 3x3, 3x4 or something. This equipment pad is 4 foot by 11 feet. And then all that around the perimeter of the pool, this was about 10 yards of concrete, 1 full truck. And at the end, we probably had a basketball worth of concrete left. So it was about perfect in terms of the volume. So if you're trying to gauge what your project's gonna cost, this pool is like 22 by 42-ish, something like 22 by 45, you know, on its long dimensions. And so all of that was about 10 yards of concrete. So your mileage may vary. I think that's about it for this video. Yeah, I will continue to document the process. I hope you're enjoying the video. Oh, one thing I also need to show you, the tragedy, because this crap can happen. So we had some rain, and I tried to put a tarp over the pool to try to catch some of the rain and prevent it from, you know, eroding and whatnot. And while we didn't erode a lot of our, you know, the slopes and the hard stuff, right? In the end, you can see down here, the deep end got absolutely tore up. You can see all my footprints, right? I trying to get the tarp out there and sheet the water down there so that sump pump can dig it and pump it out. It's just a mess, an absolute mess. It's horrible. So, I don't know the best way to prevent that. I was probably 50-50 if that tarp actually helped or not, or if it was just a pain in the butt. But all that deep end's gonna need reworked. The good news is it's all in those flats where it's a lot easier to deal with that than having to rework all these slopes if we lost all those, which thankfully we didn't. So hopefully we avoid more rain. This is like the rainiest summer in the world, I think, for us. So anyway, I think that's it. So thank you all for watching. Again, if you like the content, please like, share, subscribe. It really helps with the channel. And we'll see you in the next video.